Hello people, Lek here. Today I want to give a quick update on the Chimera. I'm not going to do a review. Ronan has done an excellent review of this tank, and I will put a link to that review at the end of this video. I just wanted to give you guys an update of how I am doing with this tank after I've crossed 100 matches. And I've also got a couple of unbelievably great replays with the tank. One of them is a Hall of Fame match that I had with it. So overall, I wasn't sure how much I was going to like this tank. It was not cheap. It's absolutely amazing. It's actually exceeded my expectations. My win rate with it right now is 75% after 118 matches, which is insane. It's actually my second highest win rate tank. Obviously, there's some luck involved there. It will go down, but that's really, really unbelievable. So some of the issues I was concerned about when I got the tank, DPM. It's got the third lowest DPM of a tier 8 medium. I've not had any issues with that. There's a couple reasons for that. One is the consumables, which I'll talk about in a minute. The other one is the alpha, the 440 alpha gun. It just scares people. They don't want to rush you. They do not want to get hit by this thing. Nobody wants to take 440 alpha. The other question we had was equipment. Do you calibrate the shells? The answer is no. It's not needed. So the HE pen is actually very high. It's the highest HE pen of any tier 8 medium, even without calibrating. It's a 64, and you can use the HE all the time, and I highly recommend you use the HE. I get 550, 600 damage rolls all the time. It's critical to making the most use of this tank to use as HE, and you don't need to calibrate the shells to get the high HE pen. It's already there, and the last thing you need to do with this tank is reduce the DPM even further. So I definitely would say do not calibrate the shells. The other concern I had was the speed. It only goes 50, but honestly, you don't notice it. And the thing has a ton of horsepower. Power to weight is good. And I'm convinced, honestly, the terrain crossing capacity numbers here are wrong. I mean, it says it's 109.99. 57. I'm convinced that's wrong. This thing seems to go over bumps. It glides over terrain like a hovercraft. I don't know if those numbers are wrong or if I'm crazy, but it just is unbelievably silky smooth. Maybe it's the big wide tracks. I don't know, but the numbers are good. And the other thing that about the mobility while we're at it is the tank weighs 56 tons. It's really, really heavy. Has a lot of power. It is the most unbelievable rammer. I would say it's easily the third best rammer in the game after the E50 and E50M. And ramming is actually a critical part of the damage per minute. I mean, if you hit a medium tank at full speed going downhill, you will do probably 300 to 400 damage. So if you combine that with a shot, you're looking at about 800 damage right there. So it doesn't matter what DPM advantage they have over you. You just took half their hit points away. So you absolutely need to ram people. Don't go ramming KV4s. Just want to clarify that. But definitely ram the mediums. Just use that as part of your damage per minute. That's critical. The last thing I want to talk about is provisions and consumables. I use, of course, the enhanced sandbag armor along with the improved assembly, so you can increase your hit points by 168. That is a ton. So my HP is now 1568, which is really high. You got to use that. With regards to consumables, there's been a lot of debate on using the reticle calibration versus the reactive armor. A lot of really good players like the calibration. I love that consumable, but not on this tank. I have it on my FB4005. It's amazing on that tank because you can dump a whole clip out while your dispersion is like 0.15. On this tank, I don't feel like you get that much of a use out of it. It's nice because the duration is 20 seconds, the cooldown is short, but I still prefer to use the reactive armor. For me, the reactive armor is the great equalizer. Your DPM is low. If you run into a medium that has a DPM around 2400, you turn the reactive armor on. Their DPM has just dropped by 20%, and now it's actually lower than yours. So it completely equalizes their DPM to yours, and you can take them out. Also, if you get into a spot where you got 2 or 3 tanks on you, you flip that on, and you can absorb a lot less damage. So I'm a huge fan of the reactive armor for this tank. It's actually the only tank where I use it, to be perfectly honest with you. The reload is so long that I feel like you almost have to have it. So some people like the calibration. I think that if it fits your style, absolutely use it. It's a great consumable. It just doesn't work for my style. And of course I use the adrenaline. You have to have that.
Let's get right to the matches. So the first one here, it's kind of a straightforward match for this tank. Not the most exciting, but it really does showcase some of the things I was just talking about in the update. So I'm naturally going to go over to the seaside. It is a tier 7-8 match, so that's a huge advantage in this tank, of course. One thing to note that I didn't say earlier is the APCR pen on this is not that high, so you could have problems with some of the tier 9, especially the heavies. But their mediums are both 7s. They're actually light and a medium, so I'm not even the least bit worried. I'm just going right in. Give this guy a love tap and a shot. So you see what I'm talking about. Ram and shoot. 557. I put the reactive on because there's 2 people on me. Reactive armor helps control their DPM. And then a simple shot here. Gets a nice ammo racking, but I think he would have been dead anyway. T20 decides to rush me. Again, I don't know. He thinks I got low DPM, or he's just an idiot. I don't know. But our whole team kind of came over here. So 252 and I just wiped this guy out. And now you've got the juicy target you all want, which is an AMX 50, 120, or 100, whatever this piece of crap is called. Got a nice HE shot that it's actually Hesh that I missed. And I will add that as well. I kind of forgot to mention that earlier. This is not HE, this is Hesh. So you get the high pen, high damage, but there is no splash. You do get partial damage, like you just saw. I got 200 out of that. So you do get partial damage, but there's no splashing. And if you hit a module, like the tracks or any spaced armor, you'll get 0. So you can't just splash somebody to death as well. If you've got a heavy side scraping, like a Tiger 2, you try to splash the sides, it's not going to do anything, so don't bother with that. So it's not HE, it is Hesh. It definitely acts differently. You've got to make sure you hit a nice flat surface or it's not going to do anything. So now we've got a nice advantage. We've got 6 on 4 and just kind of push into the flank. In this tank, you just can't rush into the middle of a fight. You have a 13-second reload. That can cause you problems. Like I said, the DPM is not great. It's not terrible, but you can't just YOLO in. So I'm coming in over here, which I kind of have to because I need to get to that Tiger in the T29 or T34, excuse me. It's a little bit risky because you end up putting yourself in between their TDs and their heavies. So the Tiger just turns around and shoots me. Doesn't even move. This guy's a clown. But so I'm getting nice shots on this T34, but I don't want to push forward because I know that the J Panther and the RHM is on the left, and then you're just going to be in the crossfire. So it's pretty straightforward at this point. I'm trying to kind of get shots on both sides. Ideally, the JP2 would be better to get rid of than the T34 because he has much higher DPM. And I've got the 71 helping me anyway, so this 34 is just paying no attention to the 2 tanks next to him. So I'm going to let the 71 just clear him and move on. I'm waiting for him to kill him so he doesn't shoot me in the side, and there he goes. Our 252 rushed in like I didn't, and he is dead for that reason. Now I see RHM, big juicy target, and I let the low take the hit. Still want to get the J Panther first, and now it's just a simple piece of German plastic between me and an easy win. At this point, I don't care if he hits me. I've got enough hit points. He's not going to HE me, so I put the reactive armor on, and he bounced it anyway, but it wouldn't have done much damage. HE him for 560, and there you go. Another 515 on the ram. So about 1,075 right there with a shot and ram. Like I said, ram, guys. This tank is meant to ram stuff. It's unbelievable. So it's a mastery, 4,800 damage. Big game, but not too exciting. Just a little bit of farming. Next game is a lot more exciting. Okay, so I've got match 2 here, and I'm at Canyon, which is a dream map for this tank. And the other thing that's really nice here is the matchup. I've got Arthur, and he brought his 59 Patton, which is a great tank to complement the Chimera, because the 59 Patton has really high DPM, like 25, almost 2,500. So he can keep shooting while I'm reloading. So, and of course he has the -10 as well, so we can both sit up here in the middle. So naturally, we go right to the middle. I see this big juicy target, this German bulldog. Can't push too far. I mean, the turret is strong, but you can get hit on the side. It's very big, so side shots to the turret are really painful. I've had a lot of those happen to me, and I think I've got a couple in this game as well. Right off the bat, I see this idiot in this RU-251. I tried to shoot him there and I missed, but he's driving at full speed through our entire team. He's one of these morons that thinks that that's how you spot in this game. It's driving through the other team, and that somehow you're going to win. I thought he was going to go behind me, but he's literally circling the whole map. And because I turned around like an idiot, I took a bad shot from behind. I figured I might be able to catch him on this side. I just see him coming across. I switched over to HE and caught him with a huge 600 plus shot. He caught fire, and he's gone. HE is amazing, and that guy is an amazing idiot. And I love this. Targeting much, he says. What a moron. He drives through our entire team, and he says we are targeting him. So, of course, I had to reply. Sometimes you have to remind these people they're morons. So we're off to a good start. We've got one guy dead already. He keeps talking the rest of the match because he's trying to justify his stupidity somehow. He thinks he messed up our formation, which is absolutely hilarious. Like, there's a formation here. We got 7 random strangers playing a match. There's no formation. Believe me. We got nice cover up here. The issue that we run into is they start pushing the right side, and our heavies are still sitting in spawn. Normally, that's a recipe for disaster, but I actually was able to use it to our advantage. The RPK-100 never left spawn. And they're pushing on him, and he has so many hit points, and he's so hard to kill that they're wasting their shells and their time. And they've also allowed me to cap B, which is huge. You cap B at Canyon, you can definitely usually win by points. So I'm already getting shots on their mediums. Their heavies are kind of in a bad spot for me, and you can see I keep taking hits, which is a problem. But I'm more concerned about their meds. I want to get meds out of the game on this tank because most of them have more DPM than me, and they have more speed than me, so I need to get rid of them. So I almost got a great HE shot on this guy here, but he just got out of view. There's an IS-3, he is the one heavy that was poking, so he kept taking hits for no reason. And I thought I was being rushed by this STA, so I put the reactive armor on, but I realized then he's going for Arthur, and I'm like, oh crap. So I tried to rush over there and kill him, and I couldn't get there in time. I thought I'd get an HE shot on this guy. See, could easily pen him, but I switched to AP at the last minute, which was a good move because it was my 4 shots, and I got a max roll for 550. So cleared him. I wish I would have killed him before he got Arthur, but that's okay. Sometimes it happens. This is a simple kill here in this tank. Anytime you see somebody at 400, you know they're going to die. And now we've got a 3 against 2, so I'm getting a lot more confident we're going to win this. My hit points are not great, but I got enough. My biggest issue is this M41 German thing. That was a blind shot that missed, but it's worth a shot sometimes if it hits. I also need to reset my consumables, which would be nice. I told this guy to go cap A because I was convinced that if he went to cap C, the Bulldog was going to go there and kill him. So I got a great shot on this IS, took him out. So now if he caps A, we would win by points, even though they're up by 100 and some points, because we would eventually catch them. But he decided to go to C. I mean, I get why he did it. It's just really risky. So I'm running over to C to cover him because I assume he's going to get killed. And you can see right when I get down here, their Bulldog is at A. So I'm like, okay. At least my guy is not going to die. And now we're going to have 2 bases. So his risky move on C was actually a good move. It just was because he was a one shot. I don't think I would have done that normally. But had he gone A, he would have been dead. So shows you what I know. So now we've got the cap advantage, and you can see we're catching him on points. So they can't win on points. And this guy has no choice but to rush me. I've got all my consumables reset. I pop him for a huge hit, 450. Reactive is on. Adrenaline's on. And look at the ramming power. I'm backing into this guy, just bumping him with my rear bumper for 60 damage, an easy kill there for AP. So look, this thing rams like, I mean, it's unbelievable. I was just shoving him around, taking damage off this guy. Great match. This is a Hall of Fame. I think it was number 7 in the NA server at the time. Who knows if it's still there at that point. But RU, of course, did 0 damage because he was an idiot. I absolutely love this tank. If it comes up on sale and you don't have it, guys, please, I would recommend buying it. It's truly a truly great tank. Yeah, 1400 damage, 1400 battles, 47%. Great player. Love the tank. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.